On page 15, sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles. An earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Mi chamocha bo'alim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, no ra tehilot osei feleh. This is the nusach, the customary melody that applies in most Ashkenazic congregations around the world. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'eli anu v'amaru, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. The Eternal One will reign forever and ever. V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, ugoalo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch ata Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Should you be following in the Siddur, we now have come to page 18, the night prayer, which reminds us of God's protective care for God's children, not only throughout a long night, but through the nights of our lives when we fear for the light and wonder whether it will ever return. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'ha'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim ufaros aleinu Sukat shlomecha, Sukat shlomecha, uveros aleinu, Sukat, Baruch ata Adonai, shomer amo Yisrael la'ad. On page 21 in the English, teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days, lest my day today be as the one before, lest routine set my ways. It is said of prayer that prayer is not a shout into an empty void answered only by its own echo. Prayer is the spirit within us reaching out to the spirit of the universe, and prayer is that spirit responding to us. Blessed are you, eternal our God and God of our ancestors, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and God of Jacob, God of Sarah, God of Rebekah, God of Rachel, and God of Leah, the great, mighty, and awesome God, transcendent God, who bestows chesed, loving kindness, creates everything out of love, remembers the love of our ancestors, and brings redemption to their children's children for the sake of the divine name. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. On page 103, an abbreviated version of the evening's Amidah. Havinenu Adonai Eloheinu l'da'at derachecha, umol et levavenu liri'atecha, v'tislach lanu lihiyot ge'ulim, v'rachakenu mimacha'ov. Give us insight, eternal our God, to understand your ways, and consecrate our hearts to revere you. From our sins, redeem us with forgiveness. From pain and sorrow, keep us far. Bestow upon us your earth's abundance, and gather our exiles from earth's four corners. To those who stray, bring correction. Upon the lawless, place your hand. Let the righteous rejoice in the building of your city and in the flowering of your redemption. Before we call comes your reply. Baruch atah Adonai shomea tefillah. Blessed is the Eternal One who hearkens to prayer. Friends, I've been consulting any number of books over the last weeks and months in preparation for the Yamim Noraim, the upcoming holy days. And in one of them, edited by a colleague, Rabbi Dov Peretz Elkins, entitled Moments of Transcendence, he shares a short story attributed to Gerald Jampolsky from his book Out of Darkness into Light. I really like this passage, and it gives me pleasure to bring it over to you. Gerald Jampolsky says, during a break in a lecture one day, a little boy about 5 years old came up to me and asked with great wonder, "Hey, mister, what were you like when you were new?" The author reflects, saying, what a powerful and deep question that was. What were you like when you were new? He goes on to say, I was most grateful that he'd asked, and I appreciated the originality of the question. Children are like a breath of fresh air as they express how they see the world. We have so much to learn from them. In answer to the little boy, I said that when I was new, I was full of love and innocence, just like you. But the truth is that I continued to ponder the boy's question for days. With thanks to this child, I began to wonder when I, like so many others, lost that feeling of being full of love and innocence. I reminded myself that the newborn infant is the essence of innocence, full of love, light, faith, trust, and happiness. Love and innocence fly out the window the moment we begin judging others or ourselves, and we recapture that innocence the moment we stop making judgments. He concludes saying, in my daily meditations, I picture that little boy. I let his image remind me that every day can be a newly experienced birth, where I once again view everything with the newness of a child. I was drawn to this story, maybe in part because my youngest granddaughter has just turned 1 today. and in my experience, and entirely objectively, I've never seen a child so completely pleasant and unfussed, smiling, laughing. If only we could restore ourselves to that pristine time, to see the world as if through new eyes, and not only the world, but one another, sensing the spark of the divine within the other, seeking peace, pursuing justice, existing in a world in which there is greater understanding between peoples, regardless of their color, their creed, or their race. Alavai, maybe in the year to come. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liyotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo husamanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gohur aleinu kechol hamonam. Vanachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. The Eternal One will reign forever and ever. V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayomahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Before we conclude this evening, we take a moment to remember our loved ones, the innumerable acts of kindness they performed for us, the generations before them whose decisions, whose courage, whose integrity set the stage for the lives that we enjoy today. And may we pledge to honor them in our words and deeds, so that their memory will never entirely fade. O Hoseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru, Amen. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu. v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Good night, everyone.